Now on 12 News at 5, artificial aid. Imagine if you could sit at your computer and within a matter of seconds have an expertly composed 500-word essay.
Well, you don't have to imagine anymore thanks to something called ChatGPT, and it's, as you might guess, the technology has caught the attention of students and educators around the world.
Our Kim Kalunian took a closer look at what the technology is and how local colleges and universities are responding. Kim?
Well, Shannon and Mike, we've heard of artificial intelligence before, but experts say this new form is making it nearly impossible to tell whether you're reading something that was written by a human or by a robot. Asking your smartphone for homework help? Hey Siri, write me an essay on William Shakespeare.
I found this on the web.
And asking ChatGPT for homework help are two very different things.
It produces very realistic and conversationally accurate text. So it could be anything from generating a dialogue between people to answering specific questions that somebody might ask, to providing an outline for a potential paper that could be written, to then revising and editing that same document.
ChatGPT is a form of artificial intelligence, something called a large language model created by the company OpenAI and released to the general public in late November. It's been fed an extremely large data set, effectively training it to predict which words are most likely to come next in a sentence. The result? It can communicate in a way that can be indistinguishable from humans.
One of the ways that academics were identifying that students were using this technology in an unauthorized way was because the quality of the writing was so good.
URI professor Stephen Atlas literally wrote the book on ChatGPT in higher ed, and his co-author was ChatGPT, so it might not be a surprise that he has a positive take on the new technology. So it might not necessarily be a bad thing.
Not necessarily at all. It might be one of those wonderful things that's taking place right now.
Atlas believes ChatGPT could become as common as a calculator or spell check. It's just about using the technology responsibly. We reached out to every local college and university, and while some are starting conversations specifically about ChatGPT, many pointed to their overall academic standards as a warning to students that using it to complete their assignments and not disclosing it is cheating. Atlas says the disclosure piece is key, and OpenAI's own guide for educators points to that as well.
If we can learn about the types of disclosures that are necessary so that we can write while also being honest and transparent about exactly how these ideas came to be, then we have the ability to work with this amazing new technology and to do so in a totally ethical way.
And I did reach out to OpenAI, the company behind ChatGPT, and in addition to that guide for students and educators, they've also put out this tool that can help detect AI-generated text.
So how are schools planning to use that tool?
Yeah, that's a great question, and it sort of remains to be seen. Atlas, who I spoke with there in the piece, said it's going to be up to individual schools and educators how much effort they put and resources they put into detecting when students use this software. And there's actually another form of ChatGPT detecting software that ironically was created by a college student. We'll hear from him naturally coming up at 6 o'clock.
All right, we look forward to that. Kim, thank you.
Thanks.
Now at 6, new details in our 12 News story, artificial aid.
At 5, we told you about a new form of artificial intelligence that can write expertly composed essays in just a matter of seconds.
One of the ways that academics were identifying that students were using this technology in an unauthorized way was because the quality of the writing was so good.
So how do you know if you're reading something written by a human or a robot?
It's something local colleges are mulling over as students gain access to the technology. 12 News anchor Kim Kalunian joins us now live in studio with what she's learned. Kim?
Well, Mike and Shannon, you can see how this tool might be enticing, if not exactly ethical, for students to use. But ironically, one of the people who's created something to detect undisclosed artificial intelligence writing is a college student himself. It's as easy as this. A simple prompt, and just seconds later, ChatGPT has done my homework for me.
The buzz around ChatGPT was crazy and was everywhere.
Over winter break, 22-year-old Princeton student Edward Tien created a program called GPT-0, software that flags pieces of text likely generated by ChatGPT, an artificial intelligence program designed to write just like a person. Tien expected a few friends to try it out.
Now over 40,000 teachers have signed up for our product waitlist. from Rhode Island, from New York, and really across the country.
We reached out to every local college and university to find out how they're planning to detect misuse of ChatGPT. Most pointed to their academic standards as a general warning to students not to use it to cheat. A spokesperson at Johnson & Wales said they're working on a comprehensive policy and have a, quote, series of trainings for faculty through March and April, and are exploring ways to utilize this powerful new technology to facilitate student learning outcomes.
I think students should absolutely be allowed to expose themselves to these new technologies. It is the future. AI is here to stay, and it is the future we're entering. But at the same time, it needs to be used responsibly.
And while Tien has no doubt about AI's staying power, he thinks a world where everyone uses ChatGPT to write is kind of sad.
Yeah, it's like, imagine a world everyone is writing the same, then being able to write originally and write like yourself will be an even more valuable skill then.
Let's hope he's right. And here's something interesting. When it comes to knowing whether a human or a robot has done the writing, Tien says while humans have bursts of creativity, one hallmark of robot text, it's consistent, but it can be pretty boring. And a word of caution, ChatGPT doesn't always get it right. Live in studio, I'm Kim Kalunian, 12 News.